Hello, this is Bradley Thayer, and I am coming to you on behalf of the CIS166 course for PHP and MySQL. In this lesson, week 15, we are doing a quick introduction to alternate databases, particularly alternate to the relational style that we've been using with MySQL. Other examples of relational would be Oracle or SQL Server. There'd be some others as well that may be more or less popular, but Oracle SQL Server would be the top two players, I would imagine, and MySQL would be up there too, especially in the usage of free community software. Here, what I have is MongoDB, which is one of the bigger players in the NoSQL or not only SQL realm. And this is a document database. And I'm just here to do a quick demonstration while using the Compass tool that comes with MongoDB. I have here installed on the community edition of MongoDB on my own computer. And what I've done here is some of the examples I've shown over the course of the course. 15 weeks we've been together. Right now here I have a dog registration. Okay, so what I've done here is on the MySQL side, you have a database, and that database will hold a table, and in that table you have rows. Okay. Here in MongoDB, we have a database still. In this case, the database is called dog registration. Instead of tables, we have what's referred to as a collection. So here I have a dog collection. Dog registration, database, dog collection. And inside the dog collection, instead of rows, I have documents. Okay, so I can add right here, create a new database. Of course, when I do that, it wants a collection, so it doesn't want empty databases. So what might be one? You could say something like baseball. I'm making something up on the fly here, which is probably dangerous. And say Diamondbacks. So baseball, Diamondbacks, and you might here have a Diamondbacks players. Okay, we might have Ketel Marte, Ketel. Might just look like this. And there you have it. Okay. You might also do something like Robbie Ray. Oops, spelled that wrong. In the position. And lastly, Archie Bradley. There. Insert. So here I could now say, give me all the pictures. So I would write the query. I know we've written queries in MySQL. Here we'll also write queries. But the queries have this kind of JSON format that we've briefly talked about in week 15. And you can see it returned my two pictures. If I change this to picture field, we get Ketel Marte. Now Ketel Marte, if I'm not mistaken, is also sometimes plays second base. There we go. Sometimes plays second base. I could change this to, and this is where we get some of the benefit of MongoDB. I could say edit. I could change position here from a string to an array. And say I want I'm going to go back over here and adjust these now. I don't know if Robbie Ray starts or not, but I'm just making this for an example. Starting pitcher. And lastly here, Archie Bradley, Ray. Relief pitcher. So now I can come up here and I can say position center field. I get Ketel Marte. Second base. Again, I get Ketel Marte. Makes sense. Second base is in his position array. Or I could say relief pitcher, Archie Bradley. Perhaps I want all the pitchers. I come here and do a wild card. And the wild card, to remember the wild card character here. There we go. The wild card, so I end up getting starting pitcher and relief pitcher. So you get some of the same query benefits you get with the MySQL, but in this case, in particular with Ketel Marte, I would have had to have a child table with a position in 2 rows. So I'd have a player table and then have to have a child table and have some foreign key relationship. Here I'm able to do it with a single document. Let's go back to some of the things we've already done here. So I have a dog registration, and here I have 2 dogs. I have Fido, who has a distemper vaccine, and Spot, who does not have a vaccine. So I can immediately tell you who is fixed, and it is Fido. I can do, and I've already copied this because it's a little bit of a thing to remember when you're under pressure making a video. Okay, now this query is going to say, for a birth date, give me all the documents that have a birth date property that's greater than this date of May 1st, year 2000. And then it has a time. So an ISO date is going to have a time component as well. Okay. So when I run this, of course I get both dogs because Fido's birthday is 2018, Spot 2008. If I come in here and type in 2010, of course I only get Fido at that point. Okay. So some of the same aggregate queries we've done, greater than, query less than, etc., we can also do here. Another thing that MongoDB gives us versus the relational side is the ability to have this schemaless approach. And when I say schemaless, okay, understand that we are going to have, if I can get my dogs back here. There we go. I can add a new dog in here. So I'm going to insert a document. I'm going to say name, Fido Spot, we'll say Bo. It's a popular dog name, I think. And this time I'm going to skip birth date and just say age. Now I've been encouraging you guys to not do this, but I'm doing it here for the sake of an example. So here you see I have a birth date field. Here I have an age. Of course I can come in here and say age 10. I'm going to get nothing. Okay, I could say blah. I'm going to get nothing, but blah doesn't exist. Age only exists in one document. There it is. Okay, and of course I could do the birth date as well, which I've already, there it is. Okay, so what this gives us here, this quote-unquote schemaless design, is all of our documents don't have to have the same properties. Okay, in this case, some of our documents have birth date while others have age. And the reason I've been telling you don't do age is because when Bo turns 9, I have to actually come in here and update that to 9, which I can do. It's just a pain to do that. Instead, use the birth date, use a date property. The birth date's a static thing, it stays the same. And if you want to determine how old Spot is or Fido is, then all you have to do is query the birth date and calculate the age, as comparing it to the current date. Point being is here, though, this quote-unquote schemaless design means that all my properties don't have to match if I so choose that as a need for my project. One other thing I would like to show is, in this case, I have a homeowner in the neighborhood, right? So I'm going to write a new document. Say first name. Just make some stuff up here. I'm going to skip the phone array because I've just told you I can do that. And here I'm going to put an array in of cars. And here I'm going to put an object. And I'm going to have a make, Honda, model, I'll say Civic, and year. We're going to make it a, in this case, I'm going to make it a number. I'm going to make it a, let's say, a 2012 Civic. I'm going to insert that. All right. A couple things I'm going to point out here. First of all, when you consider whether, this goes for MySQL as well, when you consider whether to make a year a string value or a number value. Okay. In this case, it kind of depends on what you plan to do with it. So if I want to do one of those greater than queries, give me all the people who own a Honda Civic greater than a 2012 model. I look through all the homeowners in the neighborhood, boom, I find them. That would be more appropriate as a number. Okay, so if you plan on doing any sort of math with it, it may be more beneficial to using number. So in this case, I'm going to make it 64 here, 64 there, and update that. Okay, fine. Now, if I say give me all the cars where the year is greater than, let's say a 2006, of course that one being the 2012 is the only one in my listing that's greater than a 2006. If I were to say a 4 here, now it's going to return this 2006 here as well as 2012. So this, you might say, well, 2003 is not greater, but it picked up this one here because I'm finding any document that has a car with a year greater than 2004. Okay. One other thing I'd like to point out is I can do an AND query. So if I want to do something like AND, okay, here the square brackets indicate an array. Okay, so I'm going to say my first query, I want all the, let's see here, I want my first query to be cars dot make Honda and cars dot model Odyssey. John Smith has a Honda Odyssey. If I go back to Civic, Brian Smith has a Honda Civic. If I put in Accord, then I'll get no one. No one has a Honda Accord. Okay, so you kind of see how this and. So I'm saying find me a document that has a Honda make and an Accord model. When I use Civic, it's more interesting because there's data. You can see that Brian Smith has a Honda Civic. So again, it's kind of an introduction. We didn't go into great depth here in this intro, but again, the course was more for MySQL. I just wanted to spend 1 week to introduce you to alternate styles of databases, MongoDB being the one I chose. Remember that I feel it's best that you consider this document database and NoSQL in general to be a complement to relational databases, not necessarily a replacement. Now, project by project, one might be more beneficial than the other, but I'm talking as an overall strategy, both corporate strategy, personal strategy, a strategy for your resume. I think it's best to have some exposure to all of them. You can speak intelligently in an interview, and you can perform project to project in a company when you understand, and you can use both. When is it better to use one or the other? Well, there's always going to be a discussion, a debate, but certainly there may be cross where you don't get benefit from using one or the other, and certainly there's going to be some cases where one outshines the other given the situation, and that kind of comes with experience, and some comes with corporate philosophy, rule sets inside a company, whatnot. But again, I think it's best for you as a student and as somebody trying to get into the IT business or any other line of work you want to be in, to kind of understand both and be able to use both and speak to both intelligently. So I hope this gives you some curiosity into looking into MongoDB or one of Mongo's competitors more closely on your own. And if you have questions during this course, perhaps after the course, I am a MongoDB expert. You're welcome to send me a message and ask me, and I'll do what I can to direct you to the right answer. Thank you very much, and please, after you complete this video, please look into the other parts of the lesson and requirements for this week. Thank you.